What is up, YouTube? It has been a very long time. Yeah, so spontaneous as always. Just doing a catch up with you guys, and got lots of stuff I need to get back into. Basically, been like super busy doing work stuff, but then also starting a side business with the wife. So yeah, that's been taking loads of my time, and kind of just want to throw myself properly into that. But of course, I'm still here for you guys, and lots of people have actually been meeting up with me like individually just for coffee or whatever. I've been sharing ideas and stuff, and it's just really nice to kind of get back into this. I kind of definitely go through a love hate with this thing because I'm like, I'm not doing this for like the become a sound recordist in like 2 days kind of course, and I'm not kind of selling anything, and it's hard to obviously get in with manufacturers because I do a lot of different reviews and things like that. So I'm just going to keep doing what I'm doing. But this is obviously all about you guys. So hit me up with questions. I'm also going to start updating my podcast a lot more. I'm going to go back through my older videos and just make those individual questions, give them a bit more detail. And you can get that by searching Soundrolling podcast, I guess, on Spotify or iTunes or wherever you like to listen to podcasts. Oh, I've like really done something to my knee. Yeah, and I need to catch up on a few videos. I've still got the interesting Hydemic B Flex that I've got to test out, which is kind of a silicon rubber mount that can sit on your chest like this. This one's designed for a COS 11. Interesting that the actual material doesn't really stick well with tape. So I'm not gonna sure how I'm gonna do it with a hairy chest, but we'll see how that goes. But yeah, come on. I should be live. There should be somewhere for you to ask questions, and hopefully I'll give you my 2 cents, and we'll see how we go with that. So I will just wait for your cue, and maybe I should. No, I probably shouldn't go on Wi-Fi, or I'll kill my signal as well. So hit me up, and let's sound. What else that's been going on really? Just more of the usual. Doing lots of docs, doing lots of finishing off a couple of features, loads of short films, and content for other people. So time to start doing more of my own. Reading my blog as well. Deleted all my old blog posts just to go back through and kind of start fresh. Yeah, lots of other good stuff. So find a box, ask a question or my opinion on whatever you like, and I will go ahead and give that opinion, I guess. And I guess things may change over time. There should be like terms and conditions, right? This kind of thing. So I this with the wife. So putting all my marketing skills into something that is yeah, more useful and more yeah, it feels more legitimate to sell actual real physical products. It's quite hard. I feel it's a bit weird kind of selling information. So okay, Jay Ryan. If you're doing a mix and the levels spike, do you reduce the gain of the ISO or let the limiters handle it? That is a good question. It's kind of a multi-part question. I find that it's good to have limiters. Quite a lot of stuff I do can be unscripted, and so limiters obviously play a key role in that. Yeah, so and the limiters on the sound devices that I have are very good. I like them. So if it spikes, then I assume this is from something that is unexpected, or from something that just can't be helped. So, for instance, clapping. If it is just clapping is always going to spike because of that high pressure wave, and so that will always go into the limiters. But I'm always changing the gain based more on general level, and then what I'm able to do is so a combination of both is, I guess, the answer to your question. Again, yeah, you can give me more and more like specific questions. It's often quite hard to handle like a whole general topic like when and where to use limiters. But I generally always use limiters. My limiters are 4 decibels below 0, which is like maximum on a digital scale. And so that leaves me with 4 decibels of essentially compression and I think it's at a 20 to 1. So that means that essentially I can go up another 80 decibels without without actually clipping. It'll just obviously it'll still severely impact the sound if I was to add an extra 80 decibels, because it would compress essentially 80 decibels back into like 4 decibels, which is, yeah, obviously not good. So I do a soft knee as well. I don't do a hard knee. I think you can get even more like sharp reduction in compression. But sometimes as well, you want a bit of a limiter as well, because it's kind of a bit of an active compression. But again, this is more for if you're balancing in a scene between someone like laughing and then talking normally, and you don't want the background to jump up and down. Then it's better to kind of slightly ride the gain, but also then go into the limiters. So hopefully that answers your question. Any other questions? I'm live right now. So yeah, that's part of the fun of the spontaneity of all this. And then, as I said before, I'll be uploading these questions in more detail for the podcast, and you'll be able to get that on Spotify and all kind of good things. Because I kind of feel like most of my information stuff, you don't actually need to see my face and my ever-changing length of beard and hair. So, Max, have you ever tried Lav DPA 4061? What do you think of it? I like the DPA stuff. I haven't had extensive experience with the 61. I've had a lot with the 71. I liked it, but I found that it was actually, especially the grill cap, it was kind of getting unreliable, because considering how much they're like, then to get them all fixed, I've had more problems with DPAs than I have with the Sankens, especially for the 71s. And I went with the 71s because they're meant for hiding underclothes, whereas the COS 11s are better for kind of clip on as well as hiding underneath. So yeah, 61's very, very kind of, yeah, lots of people use them. Again, it depends which, like, if you have all the accessories and if you're buying a full set of anything, I definitely say you can't go wrong. But it's just for the price point for me. I think I'm still going to stick with Sankens. And again, just throwing my 2 cents out there. But if yeah, the thing I really like about the DPA is the cable is thinner and it's a lot easier to kind of manage. The thicker cable on the COS 11 really annoys me. And if they made a cable as thin as the DPAs on the Sankens, I would use Sankens like literally forever. So I'll keep mixing and matching. Yeah, they bring out lots of nice stuff, and I'm still kind of undecided which way to kind of throw a decent chunk of cash at. Yeah, because maybe even need to get another electro and all sorts of stuff. So for the new people joining, get in your questions. You can throw them in at any time. And again, I will update all of these also on the podcast. So practicing my podcast voice. So, Gabe, how do you record a mono mix on the 688? You go to recorder, well, you go to menu, you go to recorder, you go to your SD or your CF card, and then you select mono WAV. And what that'll do is just condense all of your tracks into just one mono file as a mix. But I would give you the advice of, unless that is a super specific delivery, is that you basically go and do WAV poly, and that will give you all the files individually, but it will still give you it in one sound file. So if you record 8 channels, it'll give you 8 tracks, but that whole file will just be one WAV file. So it's more easy for the editor. As opposed for if you wanted to do a mono mix and you're not talking about the end result, but you're talking about, as opposed to recording a left and right, then all you do is you just record a left and you don't record the right, and then that is essentially a mono mix as well, because obviously you're not panning anything. So there's several scenarios where I use that. I like a mono mix quite a lot on films. There's quite a lot of things where it's not really a mix. It's kind of, I pan the boom to the left and the radios to the right, and that's more for kind of corporate kind of stuff. Delivery to the US, that's super popular. Just like in camera kind of stuff. And then I record all my ISOs. So hopefully that answers that for you. Again, you can always follow up with your questions, and I'll kind of add more information. So yeah, just kind of drain my brain. Have you compared Zoom F8N digital delay style limiters against the sound devices yet? I have not. I didn't realize there was a delay, although I guess with digital there is a slight delay, maybe. But I mean, it would be. I wonder because you're converting it to digital. I think it's the overall quality of. I'm trying to think. Klaus, I can't remember his YouTube channel. But if you search Klaus Klausse, sound devices Zoom limiter, he does a nice comparison, um, and basically tries to smash them against each other. So hopefully that will help you out. Any other questions? Anything else for me? Oh, there are. Um, then we have essentially look ahead limiters. Ah, it's essentially a look ahead limiter, I see. Ah, okay, that's pretty cool. Then we have you ever had problems with lav over time losing certain frequencies? I am thinking that some of my Sankens have kind of lost a bit of power. I wouldn't say necessarily frequencies, but they're losing. Yeah, they're. I don't know. Some of them don't feel like they have the same oomph as others, and my kind of gain settings are different on some of my electros sometimes. With similar Sankens, I need to get some new ones actually because I've jacked in a load of the black cable ones. I'm only down to white cabled ones, which is fine for most of the stuff. But yeah, most of the time you also need kind of black lavaliers as well as white lavaliers. Super useful to have still because obviously white t-shirts, and I still have the white RM11s, which is the accessory, the rubber mount. So yeah, Max, ambient nanolocket or tentacle sync? I will take that your question is about the newest versions of those, and I would say depends on your workflow, as always. I would say that hey Kyle, how's it going? Um, I would say tentacle sync, just very worldwidely accepted, especially in DSLR communities and going up. A lot of people using that as the word when, for instance, instead of saying taxi, people say Uber. A lot of people, instead of saying locket box, they say tentacle to me now. So they've made a massive impact. I personally like both of them. I think they're both going to be reliable. The app is getting there with the tentacle sync finally as well, which is nice. So that, yeah, that eventually when they, because last time I was using it, they were still getting bugs like syncing it up and like it wasn't advising you to like sync with phone time and things like that. However, if you're building into a wider networked system, then nano lock it because then that can go into the ACN network. And this is a very similar thing of like why people can potentially choose timecode buddy systems or ambient over tentacle because there's kind of a network effect going on and you kind of broadcast and all the others are constantly syncing. So the timecode buddy system or timecode systems with their ultrasync ones and the wave unit or the pulse unit have been very, very popular because then you basically just have one unit and all the others are basically taking whatever you're feeding into that main unit over, I think I wonder if it's 2.4 gigahertz range, 5 gigahertz range. So yeah, so that networked effect allows you to basically if you go out of range, then they take the time code that they have and run it internally still, like free run. But if you need to sync them, they essentially sync as soon as you turn them on and you turn them as a slave to a set master. And you can get various different channels. So if you really wanted to run several different channels of timecode, you could run multiple ones all at once, all on different channels for different sets of cameras, and everything would be good. So hopefully that answers your question as well. Carl, how have I been? I've been very good. I've been very, very busy, and yeah, I need to get back into my sound content game because I've been taking the time off just to build a kind of little family style business with all my marketing prowess. Yeah, and it's kind of like I'm umming and ahhing always about where I take this direction with all my documenting what I'm doing. Just because I kind of get a bit sick of it after a while, but then I've been meeting up with loads of people in cafes one on one, and just giving them the help starting out, and it's obviously really important to start out, and yeah, so I'm just trying not to get caught up in all the drama of it all, and so yeah, I want to pull away and I want to give back at the same time. So it's a bit conflicting, but hopefully we will get there by eventually winning an Oscar one day and looking back at this. Right? That's how the theory goes. Or you win a lifetime achievement award for contributing enough. So who knows if that will come? But if it does, that'll be nice and validating, wouldn't it? And of course, get more questions in, Carl, if you have any. How have you been? You can let me know as well. Hopefully, this can be a bit more of a interactive thing. I need to get back on this because this is actually a super easy way for me to hopefully help you guys one on one, and then I can just again throw it into the podcast along with all the other stuff. So if you search Soundrolling on Spotify and stuff like that, it should hopefully come up. And I need to update that even more. Doing post production on a feature film, finishing a short film tomorrow. Got to shoot on, yeah, loads. Um, oh, you're at AC instead of sound. Very good. So, yeah. Any other questions for you guys? Thanks for the thumbs up, guys, so far. It's nice. Always good. The metrics, you know. Help you guys with or give my 2 cents on. Hopefully, I can help. I don't know. We'll go maybe for another 10 minutes or so, and then I'll get busy just chopping these into podcast episodes, I guess. Quite handy to think of. So let me know. Any more? Any more for any more? I forget that there's like a minute delay as well, so if you actually answer your question, it will take a minute to go. Jay Ryan, have you tried the new DPA 6060s? Yes, when I was over in Amsterdam for IBC, they had one there. I didn't get a chance to listen to it. They didn't have the right connector, but looking at it is ridiculously small. It's going to be super popular, and yeah, it's going to be expensive. But if it lasts longer than the 4071s, then more than happy to potentially look into jumping on board with that. Just because it being being small but still having that same DPA quality, and because of the core thing, means that you can actually drive more level into it. Seems like a win-win. Again, if you're looking at investing in microphones for the long term rather than kind of short term and building up, it's the old buy once, cry once scenario, I kind of feel. But will it be practical for everyone? Probably not. I'd say you still probably much better off buying two Sankens rather than just one DPA, if you're still starting out and building up, because those mics still last a long time. Ugh. So it's getting late here. Okay, John. Can you suggest an entry point model for Lectros? Always use G3s for commercial work and overwhelmed by choice of Lectros. Ah, okay, yeah. Unsure of main difference between each model. Okay, well at IBC we kind of went through a general gist of them. So, for instance, the ones I run are the SRBs, and and Carl, yeah, I'll combine your question as well. So the SPDR, that's the stereo portable dual recorder. It's interesting. It's nice that they brought it out for kind of relay work and kind of redundancy as well. Also interesting using it as like a car rig recorder. So potentially because you can put in two channels into it, you could have the front two seats mic'd up and then record straight into that. In terms of entry points, so I would still have SRBs. That's what I have at the moment. So that SRB range is the receiver, and then the SMV and the SMQV or V, yeah, QV is probably a solid way to get in. I know a lot of people use the Electro 411s as a kind of entry point. I don't think they sell those anymore, and I've never had any personal experience with them, but they're kind of they're slightly bigger units, and again, they have that kind of electro sound, but it all depends on if you're doing enough commercial work and you want to just invest in what is kind of current. I still think it's super interesting having the new SRC range and the, I don't know what they've called the transmitters, but they're basically the updated ones, so you can use them as a recorder, built-in recorder, or you can use them as a transmitter. And I think that's still pretty useful in different workflows, as long as you can kind of sync clap them. Um, so yeah. So Carl, the UCR, yeah, 411A. I have two, and they still sell them. Oh, okay, cool. And I have one with one of the tighter locks that they made. Yeah, cool. So a lot of people still using them. They're obviously still selling them. But if you're going up for bigger stuff, I jumped straight from G3s and basically saved up enough to then buy four straight off the bat. So that was good. Oh, and that's definitely seen through, and they've been rock solid. So yeah, personally, only my main experience is that. But even if you were, um, I don't know the price points of all of them as well, so it's hard for me to say what's an actual entry point because they all seem obviously above a G3 level to me. So yeah, hopefully that helps. I don't know if it does. Um, yeah. So guys, unless there's any other questions, I think we should hang out again soon. It's nice to see so many of you just randomly jumping back on, and hopefully I should be able to do more of these and get back into the swing of things and just get out of just procrastinating over like the perfect bit of content. Also decided to take down my app, throwing thousands of pounds into that thing, and there's no real kind of long progression tail for that. Again, it's just a nice thing to do. Um, but again, I don't think enough people really care, or that I really care enough about it to continue it. So that's all I base all my decisions on, really, whether it's good or bad. So, all right, guys. Well, till next time, I will see you guys